in my local Goth scene, I am actually known as one of the Goth DJs. So in today's video, I want to talk about what it's like being a Goth DJ here in Belgium, and I will also talk about the events that I regularly DJ at. So hello spooky bats and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi and welcome. My name is Orphea and I'm a Goth YouTuber from Belgium. When I talk about my DJing, one of the most asked questions that I get is, what type of music do you DJ? Because the people that know me even a little bit know that I am not into slower new wave music whenever I DJ. I come from the metal scene, so I used to listen to metal before I discovered Goth music, and even though I really enjoy The Cure, Bauhaus, Susie and the Banshees, I don't enjoy going out on that music and partying on that music. For that, I prefer actual rave style music, and lucky for me, there is a big part of the Goth subculture that actually listens to this music and goes out on this music. And I was very fortunate that at age 18-19, whenever I started going out, there were two big events happening in Belgium called Vampire Party and Nocturna, and both of them had a big focus on the electronic Goth music. So that's what I love to dance to, and that's also what I DJ. And these sleeves keep coming down, so I'll just put them down already. So I started going out to electronic events. I fell in love with the music there, and that's what I love to DJ as well. So I DJ mainly electronic music. Now, the music that I DJ can be considered EBM, industrial, synth pop, but I also DJ some techno and some other genres that I just love music of within my set. So I don't just keep to what is considered gothic electro, I also venture out into other electronic genres. So if you go to raves here in Belgium, you have Rave Rebels, for example. I went there last year for my birthday and I had an amazing time. It was a little bit too crowded for me, but hey, the music was fun. So to give you an idea, the Goth subculture that I DJ in is not the Goth subculture that most people fall under. And that brings me to one of the first points. Where do I DJ and do I get booked a lot as a DJ? No, actually not. I have been booked at Bunkerleute, which is the, I think 3 or 4 times a year event happening in Leuven. I actually really love Bunkerleute. I think I've been there twice to DJ, so once for their anniversary edition and once for another edition. And I've also been there as a photographer, but that's beside the point. And I had actually been going to Bunkerleute for a longer time as a visitor. Where else do I DJ? I DJ at Vampire Party. Vampire Party is the longest standing Goth event within my subculture, or my part of the subculture here in Belgium. It takes place in Antwerp, also 4 times a year. And I started out as a guest DJ a few years ago, and in the meantime I grew to be one of the resident DJs, which means that I DJ at every single event they have. So those are the 2 biggest still going events in Belgium. So we have Leuven and we have Antwerp. There used to be events in Gent. And I actually used to organize my own event in Gent, which is called Revolution, which was a mix of the electronic genre and then also of the more current nowadays new wave music. I worked with guest DJs for that music, by the way, so I never actually DJ'd that genre. And that was doing okay, but then COVID happened, and after COVID we had a really bad edition, problems with the venue, and then I went into burnout again, so I haven't organized a night since. I might pick it up again, no certainties. If I ever do, I will of course talk about it on my channel. But yeah, in Gent, there used to be Nocturna a very long time ago, where I maybe DJ'd once, like at the very beginning of the evening when I was still like learning to DJ. And then of course at Infected I DJ'd a few times. And Infected was I think 4 times a year as well, but unfortunately they also stopped organizing. Now in Gent there is also something called Wave Meets Industrial, which is organized in different locations because they've changed venue a couple times. And that's the thing with organizing in Gent, you have to find a venue that wants to host your event, a venue that is small enough, that it is accessible enough, and also that the sound quality of the systems that are present are good enough. Because I've DJ'd in a few locations where the sound quality was absolute shit, and that's not nice for anyone, not for the organizers, not for the DJs, and also not for the people on the dance floor. In Brussels, from what I know, there aren't really a lot of goth events happening anymore. I could be completely mistaken, but I'm completely out of that side of like the country, because there is a big difference between goth nights in the Dutch-speaking part and goth nights in the French-speaking part, I've noticed, and I'm just not in tune with that side of our goth subculture, unfortunately. And then of course there are goth festivals, and currently in Belgium we have one, exactly one. It is called Weeffest. It isn't actually marketed as a goth festival. They used to have Weeffest and Sinners Day, their goth themed festival, separately. But something didn't really go the way it was supposed to. Also with the venue there was something happening, so I don't know exactly what happened, and I'm not going to go into any details. But the organizers are a little bit older, so they focus on the Weeffest part, which is like 80s and now also 90s music, but like commercial music. And then you have the Batcave, and in the Batcave they book the goth bands or the more alternative acts. And I actually DJ'd there last year, and this year I'm also coming back to Weeffest as one of their DJs. And then of course there's other events, because thanks to my contacts from Weeffest, there might be other opportunities of goth festivals where I might DJ in the future. And no, being a goth DJ is absolutely not about getting rich. Anyone who gets into this type of creative thing knows that they probably will not make any money off of it. I actually spend more money on legally buying my music, because that's something that I really stand for. I will always buy the CDs and the MP3s of the bands and support them. I will never play with illegal music. It's also forbidden by law, I think, here in Belgium. So yeah, I spend more money on collecting the tracks that I want to use, especially if there's a lot of new releases happening, then I will spend like 100 euros on music easily. And then yeah, whenever I go to DJ somewhere, I of course need to drive there, I need to pay for parking space, and sometimes I get refunded for the parking space and my transport fee, but most of the time they pay me, if they pay me a flat fee, that should cover everything, but honestly it barely ever covers it, and that's fine. Like, if I would do this for the money, I would go into much more commercial rave and techno music, but I do this because I love the music and because I want to make people dance. And that's basically why I started DJing, because I went to parties. At those parties there were less and less DJs, people were complaining about the music, and I already kind of knew how to DJ. So what I did is I simply picked up my Traktor license again, got myself a new mixing console and started DJing again. So for me it was very easy at the point that there was like less DJs available. That's when I actually started DJing, and that I was able to get myself into Vampire Party and Bunkerleute and these other events. Now, something that I feel needs to be addressed about the Belgian goth scene is that the Belgian goth scene is divided kind of between new wave and the old-fashioned goth music and the electronic part of it. There are a lot of bigger events such as New Wave Classics that happen here in Belgium that have a set of DJs. They all DJ the music that they loved in the 80s and in the 90s, but they haven't continued following up on new music. So the thing that I find extremely boring, because I did go to some of those new wave parties, is that we'll always play the same old music. And I get it out of nostalgia reasons. Today, the day that I'm recording this video, is also the day that Vampire Party's Retro Edition is taking place. So tonight I will be DJing old music, but old music for me is the music that I listened to when I started going out, when I was 18, 19, so 15-ish years ago. So it's like music from the early 2000s actually, and not music from the 80s and 90s. There are some tracks that I know and that I enjoy that are older than that. But I feel as a DJ, you also need to like keep up with music, keep up with new releases within the genre that you DJ in. If it weren't a retro night, and probably my first 2 sets, because I do 3 sets an evening, the first 2 sets will actually be retro sets, and I feel like at my last set I might include some newer tracks as well, because the people that will still be dancing there know what I DJ like and know what I do and will for sure stay, even if I throw in something that released this year or last year. But what I was saying about the older DJs or DJs that are of a little bit mature age in our scene is that they just keep on going with their vinyls. And I get it, it has its charm, but sometimes you also need to look like at the new people coming into your scene, and not gonna say that they gatekeep or anything, they just keep playing their old music. And that makes that whenever younger people come into the goth scene, they go there and they're like, oh, but we already know all of this music, and they don't discover anything new. Or the music from the bands that they enjoy doesn't get played because they don't know about the band, because the band is newer. And that is something that I personally hope will evolve very soon, because let's face it, the people who are DJing at those events now are getting in their 50s and their 60s. I'm not sure for how much longer they will do these events, and I just hope that there is like a new younger generation that will take over. Just like I was able to start DJing at Vampire Party, because for Vampire Party, for example, the main DJ, DJ Hive, is a dad. He has 2 kids, he's married, he is a little bit older than me. Like, I am the generation underneath him, or like even one below that. I'm not sure if he could be my dad, but that's not the point. I mean, like, some organizations and some people actively look for DJs and for people that are younger to include in their events to keep attracting that younger audience. And then you have the complete opposite happening. And as a young person, you really feel like you stand out and maybe shouldn't be there. And that's a shame, to be honest. To end this video, I'm going to include a few clips of Vampire Party that's happening tonight where I am DJing. I will probably record while I am DJing so you can see it from the DJ booth and see like people dancing and stuff. Vampire Party for me is always a lot of fun. And should you be in Belgium, should you want to come to Vampire Party, all of the dates for this year have already been announced, and I will of course put them in the description box of my video. Should you still have any questions at all, feel free to ask them in the comment section down below. Give this video a big thumbs up if you liked it. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I make new videos every week and I would love to have you for every single one of them. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week with a new video. Bye!